milk makes your bones weaker. Now that might sound like a bizarre statement, seeing that, well, we have to drink milk, don't we, every day to keep our bones strong and to get calcium. Well, I'm going to tell you why in this video. Not only should you cut out milk, and when I'm talking about milk, I'm talking about dairy, because most people drink cow's milk. I know some people, they drink goat's milk, but essentially all animal milks, okay? And I'm going to explain through personal experience how I know that cow's milk makes your bones weaker. I'll explain the chemistry and the scientific studies. So like and subscribe, and that way you'll be able to improve your health, and you'll be able to cut through all of the conditioning that your brain's had from marketing and perhaps your upbringing as a child. So you might be wondering, why am I standing in a field in the middle of nowhere? Well, essentially, there may sometimes be cows grazing in this field, dairy cows, but today there isn't. And there's a tractor passing with feed for cows or animals. So for the first 18 years or so of my life, I did drink cow's milk. I had dairy about 17 or 18, first 17 or 18 years of my life. I'm in my 20s now, and I cut it out because I realised that, well, you don't need it. And I'll explain. So this video may come as a shock, just like a lot of my videos, but I am the living proof, and I'll explain. So I like to go cycling a lot, and I've done races. Do races, and I've been knocked off my bike. Unfortunately, it happens, and I've fallen off my bike, and I've never broken a bone since. And I've done most of my riding since I cut out dairy, but my bones have not become weaker since I cut out dairy. I don't have osteoporosis, and we'll talk about that, because that's very important. Because a lot of people suffer from osteoporosis, and they're still drinking cow's milk. Yes, it's not people who are on the non-dairy milks. Okay, we're putting two and two together to make 4 in this video. Okay, so I'll put the bike down and I'll show you my most recent incident. So fairly recently, I was involved with an incident with a car in which I was knocked off my bike. I was knocked off my bike traveling about 40 miles an hour, and you might be able to see some of the scars that I have from the incident. So yeah, I was knocked off my bike at 40 miles an hour. 40 miles an hour. So just imagine the next time maybe you're riding a bike or driving a car, and look at maybe if you've got a Garmin or on your car, and think just how fast that was. And I didn't break my hip, so I landed on my side and my hip and my shoulder. I didn't break my collarbone, and I didn't break my hip or my leg or anything. And I'm covered in scars from it now. And that's coming up to about a year ago from the making of this video. And I see, because I like watching sports, specifically bicycle racing, but I see a lot of riders falling off at quite low speed crashes, and they break their shoulder. And this relates to life outside of sports, where people, they break their bones. People in society, people actually just go to hug each other, and in the process of hugging each other, they break their ribs. And they might be someone in their 40s or 50s, for example, even that young, and they've drunk cow's milk all their life, but for some reason they have osteoporosis. So that's my life experience. So I don't have weak bones. So I would say being hit by a car at 40 miles an hour and bouncing along the road, and you know, I didn't break anything. So that's my experience. And I don't usually, in the diet that I promote is based on the staple of rice. So that is a staple being where you get your energy from to power you through your day. And then on top I have fruit, and I have table sugar, and I have table sugar to power my exercise, and I have it during the day as a snack. For example, make it up with sugar water, 100 grams of sugar in a bottle, and that will be a snack that I can sip on during the day, for example, depending on how much energy I feel I need. So I don't really substitute out my dairy milk with perhaps a vegan alternative. So I promote a vegan plant-based diet for lots of reasons, and including animal rights. That's another video, so don't click off because of that. But I promote the diet that I recommend because of the positive health consequences. So you can have positive and negative consequences, and I recommend immediately, as soon as you're watching this video, stop drinking milk, cow's milk. And if you really still want it as part of your lifestyle that you have oat milk or soy milk. All of these alternatives are widely available, and there's no reason not to. So why does drinking cow's milk lead you to have weaker bones, or it can lead you to have osteoporosis? And we see this in the West, and I'll talk about the scientific studies that have been done, but I'll explain now the chemistry behind why cow's milk, the chemistry of what's in cow's milk, and why it makes your bones weaker despite supposedly getting all that calcium. Well, animal products, so I don't recommend any animal products, because the same effects that cow's milk have on the bones also is from if you're eating other animals as well. So if you're eating chicken, bacon, eggs, steak, or all of these animal products, the reason why I don't recommend any of them, but especially milk, because milk is so associated with healthy bones, is because they have a lot of protein in them. Okay, so there's another one. Protein, and as much protein as you want, leads to better and better and better health. That's what we're told, isn't it? When you ask how much protein should I have, it's just as much as you can eat and you'll get stronger and bigger and healthier. But through intuition, I think we realize that that's not the case, is it? And I've got other videos, so like and subscribe for them, and you'll be able to look as lean as I am and not protein deficient. Hope you can see I'm still lean and muscular. So these proteins that are in these foods, so milk, yes, there is calcium in milk, and I'll get into that in a moment. But the protein that's in milk, it's very high in protein, and when you consume this protein, the body breaks it down into amino acids, and there are 20 amino acids, but the amino acid profile of milk, and especially all animal products, are very acidic. So they have high quantities of amino acids, especially that has amino acids that break down to produce acidic conditions. So when the body is breaking down all these amino acids and releasing these amino acids into the bloodstream, the way that the body usually is slightly alkaline. So that's what your body is. It's just slightly alkaline. So the main way that the body buffers acid, so that essentially means reduces the acidity in the body, in the blood, is it uses the bones. So yes, there is calcium in milk, and yes, calcium is in your bones, but the main reason why calcium is there is just because it forms part of the complex of alkaline material that your bones are made of. So yeah, it forms part of the process of forming bones, but essentially the reason why your bones break down from this process is because that's the source of alkaline material in your body. So the more you're eating these, so let's say milk, so you're having a glass of milk you're drinking liters of milk every day. I remember in the past I used to, and thank God I'm not doing it now. Because I definitely would, in the falls that I've had on my bike and whatnot, I definitely would have broken a bone or multiple bones. So when the bones are being dissolved to buffer the acid, so reduce the acidity of the blood and the body, the bones dissolve away, so the mass of your bones decreases and they get weaker. It goes into the blood, the alkaline material, so we'll say it neutralizes this acid, so it buffers it, and then essentially it goes into the kidneys, filters through the kidneys, and then you pee it out. So the reason why you have osteoporosis, or you know someone that does, is because for most people, they're literally weeing out their bones into the toilet. Now, I hope this does scare you into some lifestyle change. And yes, you can make your bones healthier again, more healthy, increase your health, by going over to a diet that I would recommend. So a diet based on rice and lots of white rice, and all the calcium that you need is in the rice. And on top of that, I recommend lots of fruit, and I like vegetables like sweet corn. I love sweet corn, yellow vegetables like that. Yellow peppers are good. Sometimes I eat peppers just raw, just as a snack. And you can increase your health, and you can start making your bones stronger again, no matter what age you are. Or you can at least stop making your bones like pieces of paper. And another consequence of that process is sometimes in the kidneys, while the blood's being filtered, about 90% of all kidney stones are calcium based. So those little balls that you form, ball shaped secretions in the kidneys, these stones, they're bones. So you're reforming little bones that look like little balls, like little peas or lentils, in your kidneys. And yeah, it's not something you ever want to get, but it is remarkably It happens a lot. It happens a lot, and it's something that can be avoided with a diet change, and therefore a lifestyle change. One based on the diet again I recommend, which is rice, fruit and sugar, and yes, some vegetables, but the essential is rice, fruit and sugar. Okay? And you'll look like me, and you won't have weak bones or kidney stones. Okay? So some of the science that backs this up is when we look at population studies, so epidemiological tongue twister. When we look at populations in the world, so for example in rural China, where quite often they don't drink any milk from animals, so no dairy, they don't suffer from osteoporosis, even with a lot of the population once they've reached 60, for example. And yes, there are other things to talk about with places where people are poor, but they don't suffer from the same diseases that we suffer from here in the West. So they might suffer more from, if they don't have access to dirty water, they would suffer and die from that. But we don't find osteoporosis even in people who live to their 80s and in their 90s, and sometimes to 100. And you can look up the Blue Zone study, and that's very interesting if you look that up. If you look at something that is the same in all of those places, the base of their diet that they all have in common is that they have a high carbohydrate diet. So they might have rice or beans or corn or potatoes or sweet potatoes. This is what they form the base of their diet upon, and they don't suffer from these diseases. So for example in the West we have osteoporosis, heart disease, high blood pressure, cancers related to the digestive tract, kidney failure, renal failure, atherosclerosis, you know, all of these things, diabetes, obesity. These are other negative health consequences of eating the standard Western diet. But it can be fixed. No matter how old you are, or how old you think you are, or how young you are, even if you've got one day left to live, it's still worth changing your lifestyle and your mindset. Because life, to start with, is so short. Why not make use of every day and live the healthiest way? So I hope you enjoyed the videos, this video, and the other videos if you've seen the other ones. Like and subscribe, and you'll make your bones stronger. So if you ever do fall off, which it does happen if you're cycling, just like in life, if you trip over and you fall and you break your wrist, maybe you wouldn't have broken your wrist if you were living on a staple of rice and fruit and sugar. Try it, you know? You'll be able to see, if you follow the foods I recommend, you will get healthier. Because I'm healthy, and I'm just another human being. So if it works for me, it's probably at least 99.9% of the time going to work for you. So if you got any questions, put them in the comments. You can ask me about weight loss, if you're overweight. You can ask me about potentially finding your optimum weight and staying there and not getting too lean, because you can get too lean, and I'll talk about maybe bringing your weight up just a little bit if you get too lean. So there's too lean and too heavy, so there's an optimum. And yeah, we can make the world a better place. I recommend definitely exercising on top as well, so cycling, low impact sport, so you don't get injured, your joints don't get injured while, you know, if you're running. So running's good, but quite often you'll find that you'll get injured from running and you'll want to come over and start cycling because it doesn't hurt your joints, it's good for your knees, and no, cycling won't lead to your bones, won't make your bones wither away because you're not hitting the floor with as you're running or whatnot. It's the diet, okay? Diet is number one. Okay, this is your base, your foundations. Just like if you're building a big skyscraper to show how powerful and strong you are, it's only as good as the foundations. So if you get to 80 stories or 80 years old and you're on a cocktail of drugs and you fall down, just like the building falls down, it was because the foundations went strong. So yeah, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Again, put your comments or questions in the comment section. I hope you understood the video. If I missed anything out, I'll make more videos on this because it's important. Yeah. Actually, I just remember one thing. Particularly animal foods like milk, they have a high proportion of phosphorus in them, so it makes phosphoric acid. There's literally like phosphorus molecules, atoms in the in the amino acids, and they're highly prevalent in these animal foods, a lot more so than in protein from rice, for example. So it's 5, 6, 7 times more in milk and steak and cheese, for example. And yeah, it makes phosphoric acid in the blood. It's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. The world's upside down, isn't it? Back to front. Anyway, I think I'm finished now. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for your time. Get out and ride. Enjoy life.